And we're the only ones who lasted. Everybody else got canned. It shows these guys, they don't know. They have no idea. They have no clue. And that first year for me was such an amazing blessing because I worked with Anthony Quinn for a whole year. I got to work with Tony Quinn. For young ones who don't know, study up. 6 Academy Award nominations, 2 wins, one of the greatest actors of all time, an amazing guy to work with. The stories I got, we had dinner every Saturday night for a whole year. We went to the same Italian restaurant called Antoine's, and there's a few Italians in this area I've noticed too. And it was an amazing experience. It was incredible to work with him, and up until he passed away. He was there when he was 78 years old. He passed at 86, but we kept in touch all those years. I went to his place in Rhode Island. We met in New York a couple times, and he met my parents, and he put his arm around my mom. He says, "I'm his other father." Padre, he said, and I thought that was just kind of cool. And it was fun. It was great. The stories that he said were just amazing. Some I can't repeat because of young kids in here. But he had some really cool stories. But it was, I had a gut feeling it was just going to take off, and it did. And it's amazing what that show did. Not only in our 3rd season spinning off of Xena, 5th season spinning off Young Hercules, played by a young Ryan Gosling. And it got canned after a year, and Ryan was like devastated. And I took him out to dinner before he was flying back to the States, and I said, Ryan, you're a good actor, you'll do fine. Little jerk. Put me in one of your movies, Ryan. It's like, dude, Mickey Mouse, my butt, But, worked with some great people, worked with some amazing, wonderful people out there. And it was Tawny Katane, she turned into a little wacko, but she was, but she was, how old are kids in here? That's an older audience, right? We say Tawny was always doing needlepoint all the time on the set. All of it. I mean, up until you're ready to do a scene, she'd be just do needlepoint in action, put it down. Once it cut, put it back up. So the joke was, how do you know Tawny Katane has an orgasm? If she drops her needlepoint. That was Tawny. Tawny was, yeah. And she was dating Dodi Fayed, the one who died with Princess Di at the time. And he flew down in his private 747 and took us all out to dinner one night, I remember. So interesting ties there. And she had like a 7-year affair with O.J. Simpson. So there's a lot of interesting connections in Tawny's life. So, by the way, I stayed away from her. Just worked. It's like my favorite line in Ghostbusters is, I want you. And she says, I think there's enough people in there already. You guys know the whole thing, so it's such a funny line. And this bitch's toast is one of my favorite lines. Just great stuff. Yes?
Were there ever any actors who got pissed off at your ad-libbing and your, have you seen my force lance jokes?
No. You know what? It was funny. He jumped, we did a lot of ad-libbing on Hercules, certainly. Because we were safe, because the writers are 7,000 miles away. So by the time they got the dailies, it'd be, we can't go back, that set's been torn down. But most of the one-liners I hope that you all laughed at on Hercules were certainly Michael and I just coming up with something to say at the end of fight scenes or during or whatever. And they got cool about it. They realized it was working. And a lot of things change on a set. It wasn't like an ego thing to change it, but when you're blocking on a set and you're in costume and you got all the war, you got everything going on, you come up with ideas. It just happens. That's part of being creative. And to me, it's like being part of the team. But the Force Lance thing, come on. The first season, they even had flesh tone colors on. It looked like a dildo. It did. And when I'm sure on paper it looked really cool when they're designing it, but when I looked, we kind of just had so many jokes about it. They finally switched the colors to blue, and the ship became... Oh yeah, it was a cooler look. It's a cool weapon and everything, but it even extends, So it's like, the jokes were plentiful, so every woman that was guest starring the show, eventually I pulled it out and said, have you seen my Force Lance? And that became a thing, and I do crew gifts at the end of every year, and one of the gifts I made, I had these Joe boxer shorts, and on the crotch I had the logo, Andromeda logo on the back, it said, have you seen my Force Lance? So it became such an ongoing joke with every co-star that if I didn't say it by the last day of shooting, somebody from the crew would go, what are you going to tell her, man? You're going to pull your Force Lance out? So, because they did, at the end when we finished our 5th season, they did a huge ensemble piece of me saying it, like 80 times, pulling out. And the last season they gave me double Force Lances, so I had a lot more fun with that. So it was, there was... there was one scene in the final year where we get into my office, and I'm with Rade and Becca, and we're being attacked by the Magog, and I'm able to seal up my office, and I had a secret panel in my office, and I opened it up, and good weapons were supposed to be in there, and they had a sword and a Hercules wig. So they'd set me up, and that, I laughed, it was funny. So then we did it again, and they reset it, and they put in a large black dildo. And I didn't break character. I sat and looked at it until all the crew was done laughing, and I looked at the camera and I said, "It's a long story, but I limped for a week." So, that's on the reel, I guess, too. So, did you have a question?
Yeah, it was about Hercules and your sovereign role with the goatee. Was the disappointed, was that an ad-lib, and can you do a disappointed for us?
It's so funny where that thing went viral, like millions of hits on it. And most people thought the sovereign was like the bilateral universe of Hercules, which I love playing that part. It was so much fun to play a little more evil guy, you know, and just a great little battle between Hercules and his long lost, whatever he's supposed to be. And there was a fight scene going on, and I yelled out "disappointed" really loud. And a lot of people thought that "disappointed" was written in parentheses, and I was supposed to say a different line. Oh, he misread that line. Look at, oh my gosh, you know. No, I'm a big Kevin Kline fan. I love The Fish Called Wanda, and he says that like 5 times in that movie, and I just ad-libbed it. I threw it in, and they just kept it in. But it was just, you know, disappointed. You know, but it was just, it's amazing. Good press or bad press, I'll take it. You know, so it's funny how these things go viral the way they do, and people seem to love it. I've been to these concerts where people have the T-shirts on and me yelling. You know, they got a still frame. Yes, sir.
What was it like with the fact that not only playing Hercules, but you were playing Kevin Sorbo in the future, and then they did the occasional, like, where you guys were the French guys with the chartreuse fox?
You know, what I loved about Hercules was the mix they did in it, because we certainly had dramatic roles. I mean, there were dramatic episodes. But I think, you know, what I talked with Sam Raimi, who was one of our exec producers on it, you know, stick with that Evil Dead stuff. Stay with the campy humor. We want people to laugh with us, not laugh at us. And if we would have taken ourselves seriously in those roles, people would have laughed at us, and that's not, the show wouldn't have lasted. And the shows that you're talking about, we did some modern day episodes. Like one was Yes, Virginia, There Is a Santa Claus, and where I'm Kevin Sorbo, an actor, but in reality I'm still Hercules, pretending to be Kevin Sorbo, the actor playing Hercules. So those shows were just fun. And like Bruce Campbell would play Rob Tappert, who's his buddy in real life. That trilogy, I mean, Sam Raimi came out of Michigan to do that Evil Dead. But that's Tappert. When he was playing them, they were really being each person that is back in the studio at Universal lot. And those shows were just fun. It was crazy. And the French one's still one of my all-time favorites. You know, because we were doing such bad French accents. And I do over the top like 3 times, and Michael hears, what do you saying? What? And he kept saying what? And finally I say in like an American English, I go, we need to get out of here now. You know? And it was just fun. I mean, that show, we laughed every day on set. It was so much fun to be on there. I'll get back to you. Who else? Yes?
It sounds like you had a lot of fun. I'm just wondering, was there, it sounds like there was also a lot of practical jokes. Did you play a lot of practical jokes on other people, and what was the best one played on you?
Well, I think the one with the wig and the dildo, I think that probably was the top one there. But there was one scene on Andromeda, I remember. They were taking forever. The lighting was just, they were having problems with this and that. And I had to wear this full battle gear. I think it was season 1 or 2. And it was really uncomfortable to wear. It just sucked to wear it. It was right in the middle of summer up there in Vancouver. And the building was hot, everything was hot. And they kept taking forever and ever and ever. And I was supposed to be, I'm behind this door that opens up, and I'm walking down one of the hallways, and beautiful lights, and the battle lights are going, and the music was going to be big, obviously. And I'm marching, I'm ready to go kick some butt, you know. And they couldn't get the doors working, nothing was working. So finally I told one of the guys, I said, hey, give me a newspaper and an apple box. An apple box is just a term that people in the business, they know. There's just different sizes of boxes they use for people to stand on. Certainly other actors, because of my height, they used to put a lot of actors on boxes stand next to me. Because I'm almost 6'4", so a lot of actors are Tom Cruise's 5'6" height, you know. So,